Hey guys, it's Malthor here once again. I'm going to show you my first totem character that I've played in, well, quite a few years. It's probably been 2 or 3 years since I last played Flame Totem Hierophant on Hardcore League. I just don't really like the totem playstyle too much, but I was inspired quite recently to make a decent go of totems because of the lightning warp microtransaction, and I basically wanted to make lightning warp totems a thing. Now, long story short, I really don't think it can be anything. We've tried quite hard, quite profusely to make lightning warp totems something, and it is really pretty, as you can see with the new microtransaction. But just the sheer clunkiness and the low damage, the low clear, the low control, the low everything makes lightning warp totems just not particularly viable whatsoever under any circumstance. This is with an Indigon, with a reduced helmet enchant, with a less duration, as much less duration as you can possibly get, with lots of damage through Shimmerons, and it's just slow, it's clunky, it's pretty bad. Overall, in the end, we did have to bench it after this pretty epic merciless lab clear, which took something like 10 minutes to try and kill Azaro on, and then did not really get too far in the end with that. So the rest of the character is just going to be playing totems and trying out different skills. I have, however, for the most part, gone with a lightning theme for now, based off of the Shimmerons, and arc totems have been my bread and butter thus far. I've really enjoyed dropping the totems and watching the arcs fly around. We have 4 totems at this point, and arc has just been completely steamrolling everything I've thrown it at thus far on a tabula with some really basic gear. There's absolutely nothing special going on at the moment. It is simply Hierophant, 2 Shimmerons, and then some random crap thrown together. Now, I have tried out lots of different other things, but arc seems to be the most enjoyable for clear. Spark totems definitely seem to be something that can work and work fairly well at the moment as well, though I don't think quite as effectively. Ball lightning totems are really nice too, and that's just on the lightning side of things. You can probably also grab some storm call. Haven't bothered trying that out yet because I've been enjoying the others so much, but as I said, that's just the lightning things. You can probably, or as has been quite evidenced at this point, do some glacial cascade totems. Plenty of other things like Bladefall potentially, get some Dark Pact totems, they're really strong at the moment too. Overall, Hierophant is just a really strong totem based character, lots of different skills out there that should show off the strength of totems and Hierophant at the moment. But currently I'm trying out Shimmerons, I'm trying out lightning skills, and Arc has been the one I've enjoyed the most, so I will quite likely stick to Arc throughout the rest of this character for mapping, and then swap in for some single target, occasionally some lightning tendrils, because Arc, while can be seen, does some pretty good damage and can still do some single target, especially if the particular boss fight has something to chain off of. It does some good damage, but ultimately when you put in something like tendrils, that farms single target much better. So these 4 tendy totems over here are pretty insane. They can actually shred some serious single target damage in these early phases, and I'm pretty impressed with what they can do. I did also try out Spark, some Ball Lightning. You can probably get some Flame Surge happening, some Glacial Cascade, some Dark Pact. Currently, for my Lightning theme, I'm going to keep going with the Lightning Tendies, see how it goes. Maybe it'll be good enough to take into full-blown endgame. Maybe I'll have to resort to something like Glacial Cascade totems. I'm not particularly sad if I have to do that. I will keep an open mind, since I do not play totem characters very often, and I want some fairly good success on this sort of character, just for the one time, and then I'll maybe move on, never play a totem character ever again. But they definitely look pretty damn strong right now, and for what it is, it's actually fairly enjoyable. I have not been hating doing this whatsoever, and I do recommend Hierophant for totems at the moment. Now, the character is still pretty much very much in its infancy. I am currently level 84, and I've done that just by slapping on some arc totems and cruise controlling through leveling pretty damn quick. These things do clear very fast. I've been averaging a solid 250, 300 mil XP an hour in most of whatever map I feel like touching. And the basis of the character, I'm going to go over more or less the mechanics of it, is Shimmeron Wands and paired with Hierophant Ascendancy. So to get 4 totems to start with, you have to grab Ancestral Bond, so any character can get up to 2 totems straight away, but Hierophant himself actually gets an additional totem there and an additional totem there. So you now have 4 totems. You have a lot of extra totem placement speed, totem duration, damage, cast speed, mana regen. We then take these nodes over here, which grant us power charges fairly damn reliably, and then last 2 nodes over here for mana, which enables a slightly stronger use of mind over matter, so we get plenty of mana in the end. Should be aiming for something like 2,000, as well as lots of life, so then it becomes a bit more of a sustainable character. Probably going to go for something like 5k life and 2k mana, and that should be an okay amount of defense for the start at least. Plenty of mana regen you get from actually having your totems down, which come from this node over here, and just by summoning totems you get your power charges and endurance charges happening, and all of our damage is coming off of power charge stacking. So by getting a power charge you get 10 crit multi, 3 crit chance to the base of the spell, 3 to 9 lightning damage, and then the degen effect doesn't actually affect us because totems don't count as you critting. The degen effect only matters when you crit, so sometimes that will happen if you have a flame dash and you flame dash through an enemy and you crit them. The degen will start happening, and that's when you feel quite a lot of damage hitting you. However, if you just weapon swap real quick into whatever you want, then the degen stops immediately, and then you come back into your weapons for your Shimmerons. So that should be a pretty rare occurrence, only when you actually fuck it up and crit something with flame dash or lightning warp, and then you start taking the degen. But the totems themselves, mines, traps, all of that aren't affected by Shimmeron, so we're just getting a lot of extra damage from these Shimmeron wands without any of the downside. So currently you can see I have 12,000 arc damage per totem. If we spam our Searing Bond, which is just a cheaper whatever totem to get our power charges up, you get them pretty quickly and should be fairly reliably. All of a sudden we now have 36,000 damage for each arc totem, and our mana regen goes up to 237 over there. So it's quite a lot of mana regen, it's quite a lot of damage coming from these Shimmeron wands, and then once you start ramping your Silver Flask, you get plenty of extra crit from Diamond Flask, and killing things with this node over here. The Arc Totem DPS for me ends up going up to like 60, 70,000, something like that, and that is on a pretty humble 5 link for now, with a faster casting and a lightning pen, which aren't particularly optimal. I'd say Ellie Focus is going to be a stronger one. Faster casting is nice stuff for mapping though, and lightning pen doesn't actually factor into your tooltip, as you should know by now. So currently the 5 link is Arc, Spell Totem, Controlled Destruction, a lightning pen, and faster casting. Ellie Focus is my 6th link at the moment. You can play around with lots of different other skills, so Ball Lightning, Tendrils. I've been using those for some single target action. I was using a Tabula up until randomly chaos spamming this beauty. Hopefully we get that 6 linked. So most of the video has been shown with just Shimmeron wands and whatever random gear I had still laying around. Haven't really fixed too much up, so I will link you the character and the POB and all that so you can sort through it. But it's by no means completed. I've hardly even started replacing my leveling gear, which is this into real gear, and hopefully we do start seeing some real damage. Some real damage and some real survivability pretty soon, but it's been completely cruise control up until now, so I haven't bothered replacing a lot of stuff. But long story short, you are running Shimmerons, you are running a Hierophant, there are quite a lot of totem sexiness going on, and the passive tree just grabs a few totem nodes here or there, a few power charges, a few extra totem nodes up there. Otherwise, pretty generic spellcaster I'd say, and you try and get some life and some crit and all of that. With the very large base crit that's coming from Shimmeron wands, you don't really have to worry too much about crit on the tree. So over here we currently have 16 crit on our arc. If you get your power charges rolling any second now, boom, we're now at 59 crit. That's a lot of crit for a skill that starts out with 5 crit without the crit strikes gem, using controlled destruction. Paired with Diamond Flask, you're getting pretty close to the crit cap, so that is really convenient. And as I said, I think you can do many different skills to a lot of strength with Shimmeron, especially things like Cascade, Dark Pact, all of that sort of junk. But for now, I think the only other thing I have to mention mechanics-wise is I am running Arcane Surge attached to my Conductivity, so I'm just proccing my Arcane Surge with Conductivity as a self-curse every now and again. Can't do all the storms because if it crits, I start killing myself. And then I have Clarity on my mana, running an Essence Worm with Wrath on one of my rings and leaving the rest of the mana completely unreserved for now. So currently that's what I'm running. I will be toying with plenty of other stuff in the next few days, and it is, I think, fun enough to take into the end game and explore. So I'm definitely going to see how that goes by level 90, and who knows, maybe that'll be my first Uber Elder kill. By God, that would be hilarious, but hey, I think there's definitely plenty of totem builds out there that can do it, plenty of totem builds that have done it, so maybe I'll be able to schmozzle this build into that eventually, if need be. For now though, that's just a small intro to this totem character, currently a level 84, world first totem character, Hierophant, using dual Shimmerons and playing with Arc. It's been really fun. Arc, I do think, is one that can be right through to the end game with mapping and pretty limited gear, so definitely want to try out if you want to do some totem action. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching the video, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.